Hi. Okay. Ow. Today I'm going to be talking about the Beautifully Cruel series. Oh, man. It is a good series. It is written by J.T. Geisinger, and I listened to the audiobook version of it, and it was narrated by Marnie Young and Troy Duran. Oh my God, why is nobody talking about this series? I don't get it. It is so good. So, for the first book, long story short, it is about a mob boss, pretty much Pope of the mob, falls in love with the waitress. So, it starts off kind of with him going into a restaurant every day for like a year straight. So it's not like he sets eyes on her and immediately goes after her. I thought that was a really cool kind of start to a story. And I don't know, I really like that aspect of it because normally you have mob guy or bad guy or whatever type of character it is sets eyes on a female and immediately goes after her. So it doesn't go that route with this book. They eventually start talking because True, that's the female character, her name is actually True V, but we'll call her True because that's what she's mainly called throughout the book. I love her. She is so cute. Like, just her personality. She is strong. Like, she doesn't put up with bullshit, but she's also kind of awkward around people, has social anxiety, and I don't know, just like how her character develops through the book, you just tend to love her more and more. And I really like that. But when they kind of start talking, she ends up getting attacked at a restaurant, and lo and behold, who is there to save the day? Mr. Black, aka Liam, Mr. Mafia Guy. He pretty much just like kills 3 people in front of her. And she's not even really fazed by it. I mean, she was scared, she was hurt, she was attacked, but I don't know, if I had someone kill someone in front of me, I'm pretty sure I'd freak out. She just kind of accepts it. So I think he takes it as that's a good sign. He's confused by it and doesn't think that she should just accept it. And then he doesn't really tell her that he's a mob boss. All she knows is he is alpha, aggressive, sexy as hell, and mysterious. Which, all of that in a book, it's just, yes. And that theme goes on throughout the whole book. Like, she kind of figures out little bits at a time. And it's like, that connection just brings him closer and closer because he wants out of the lifestyle and he's scared that his lifestyle will affect her. And he's kind of ready to move on. Now, you can't really just get out of the mafia. And especially with his history, like his backstory is so heartbreaking. I love tortured souls. I love dark and twisty books. So this just really spoke to me. And he is an Irish mafia boss. So, of course, some bad stuff happened in Ireland and he is out for revenge. It goes together so well. As he's getting to know her, he realizes that True isn't just a waitress. She's going to law school. And the reason why she's going to law school is because something had happened to her brother. And she kind of keeps her cards close to her heart. She's not just screaming on the top of the world, this happened to my brother. So I thought that was pretty cool. And they each have really good backstories. And the other people in the book, like Declan, he is the driver. I want a book about Declan so bad. I hope there's a third. And then there's also like True's family. Like, there's funny stuff that goes with her dad and just like her family history and her connection with her family, I thought was really cool. Just a beautifully written story altogether. And of course there's like the big explosion to where he gets into some trouble and they end up separating because they had a plan to stay together for only 30 days. And of course, he ends up falling for her. But within that 30 days is up, he just up and disappears. And of course, True is heartbroken because, I mean, who does that? Who just up and disappears 2 days before their 30 days is up? Or it might have been 28 days. Whatever. Their deal was about 30 days. And she's super hurt and super pissed about it because she thought things were going great. So after he disappears, she ends up going back home and getting her life back together and goes to work. Now, while she is at work, she looks up at the news and sees that Liam was arrested, because Mr. Mob Boss Guy. So she ends up rushing home. She's kind of freaking out, and her roommate is like, oh, Liam's in your bedroom, so you might want to go see what he wants or see how he's doing. And she's super confused. And she walks into the room, and it turns out to be Killian, which is his twin brother. So I thought that was a fantastic plot twist. I wasn't expecting it. So she's confused, and she's like, wait, he was just arrested. Like, what is going on? And he pretty much tells her, today you have to pack your things, pick where you want to go, and you can go be with my brother. And I don't know, just that's kind of the cliff notes of the whole book. There's so much more. Like, there's some funny stuff with her coworker Diego and like her graduating school, the whole backstory of each of them. So I don't want to give everything away because if you go read it, I don't want to ruin all of it. But I don't know, it's just so beautiful and good. And the smut, it was smutty. It was really, really good. And the chemistry was just pouring out of the book. So that made it worth it. Now let's talk about the narration. I thought the narration was fantastic. I am a huge fan of Troy Duran. I've actually went to his name on Audible and started purchasing just a bunch of the books that he's done because I enjoy the way he brings out a story so much. And then Marna Young, she really fit True's character and really brought out the story and the emotions, and her voice was not annoying at all. So overall, just fantastic. The whole book was fantastic. The character development was fantastic. Just everything, the way it came together, the way the backstories kind of tied everything together, figuring out who each character is throughout the book, the plots, the subplots, everything was just done so well. So that is the first book for Beautifully Cruel series, Cruel Paradise, and that book is about Killian. So in this book, it just starts. All of a sudden, like, you open up to the first chapter and you are reading about a heist. Like, these three girls are stealing a whole bunch, like $90,000 worth of diapers so they can pretty much donate it. They're trying to be like the Robin Hood of taking from the bad. I don't know, Three Musketeers, like they're super good. Their bond with each other is fantastic. I thoroughly enjoy the banter between all of the girls. So Juliet is one of the main characters. The main characters are Killian, which is Liam's brother, and Juliet. And then Juliet has two friends that she lives with, her roommates, and that is Max and Finn. Now those girls, I don't know, I just like the banter between them. And then of course you still have Declan, you still have Diego, and of course Liam's part of it. True has a little part in it, so it just kind of everyone comes together, which is really cool. But anyways, after the heist, Killian's like, all right, I need to find out who stole from me, and he ends up finding her. Now, Juliet she works for a writing firm or something like that, but her father is also a bad man, so that's how she ends up knowing her two friends and how they ended up coming together to do these heists and steal from these people. So she's all around just paranoid to the top. Like, on a scale from 1 to 100, she is like 85 and 90, and she fights Killian tooth and nail through the whole book. It's actually kind of annoying, but at the same time it keeps that cat and mouse game, and that angst up throughout the whole book. So it doesn't really take away, how sometimes in other books it could be really annoying. Like, come on, just get together already. And even when they do get together, as she learns who Killian is, she comes up with these crazy assumptions, which could be legitimate because they would make sense, because she still doesn't understand who Killian is. And so she thinks he's just like her dad. So I can fully understand that. And then Killian is super, alpha, just like his brother. And he actually took over the spot of mob boss for Liam. So everybody thinks he's Liam. And he tells Juliet to call him Killian instead of Liam, and she just doesn't understand why. Now, later on in the book, she ends up getting arrested for petty theft. Okay, let's back up a step. So she ends up backing away from Killian again because of the whole cat and mouse thing. So when she goes out to eat, she looks through this restaurant window and she sees what she thinks is Killian holding a pregnant woman. And of course, she has a ring on her finger, they're married, and it's really Liam. So she goes on this rampage, leaves the restaurant super heartbroken and upset, and goes and gets arrested. During that arrest, she ends up finding out about the whole twin thing and all that jazz. Now, something crazy happens after she gets arrested. I don't want to fully tell you, but let's just say Killian goes berserk and has to save her. And she is scared for her life. Now, this is kind of like when the book hits its peak. And I would just remember being so shocked and what the hell is going on? And her biggest fears pretty much come to fruition. So, I don't know. I enjoyed it a lot. And of course, in the end, everything comes together, and the way it comes together is amazing. There's so many different layers in the way it's written. It's kind of a quick read, but an audiobook, I think it's 8.5 hours long. So it's not too short. It has enough to have depth in it, but it's not too long. But if you really want a good mafia type romance, I think that this whole series is perfect. And then the same narrators are Troy Duran and Marnia Young. So I already told you earlier how much I love them, especially together in this series. They just, I think, worked really well together. And as with the first book, the smut was right up there. It was really good. I really like how when you're reading an adult book or something that's more mature, I really like when the smut doesn't take over the whole book. You still have a storyline. You still have room to learn the different characters, get the character development, figure out the story, figure out whatever it is. I don't like when a book is nothing but smut. Sometimes you just fast forward through it because you get bored. And this isn't one of those series, you don't get bored. It's not stretched out so long that you're just want it to end. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you go read those books. And if you have read these books, then bring up conversation down below. I love talking about books, obviously. I'm talking to you about it now, but I just keep the conversation going. Comment, subscribe, and, figure out some new books. Give me suggestions. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed. Have a nice day. Bye.